Hi, my name is Ariel from the Children of Karma, and today I'd like to discuss Uranus in Gemini. This transit will last about 7 years, and it will fully exit Gemini in the year 2033. It's interesting, as I'm making this, there's this song that's stuck in my head. It's saying, "We have to build it, we have to build it." And it's interesting, that's exactly what this aspect says to me, is we have to build it. Gemini being the community, and Uranus being that structure. Building that structure can sometimes be chaotic, which is another Uranus signature. And as far as Gemini, that's the air. So chaos within the air, within the skies. You know what that can mean. Even down to turbulence. I've heard of a news story recently about how turbulence is changing because of the air quality. Pollution is another thing. Uranus can also act out in health issues as well. So I would look at things like pollution causing respiratory issues, even sounds that can be chaotic and create anxiety, but also sound therapy, sounds that can heal. I think we can really take advantage of these alternative therapies during this time, because Uranus also represents thinking outside of the box. Pluto in Aquarius, also more open to different kinds of healing modalities, even using technology within sound technology. Throughout my recovery process, I really leaned on music, listening to music, or just interesting, informative podcasts. This is another Gemini thing. Those podcasts, just information, wanting to take in information from all different sources. But I learned that the music, it helped to heal the nervous system within. Uranus is also nervous system. So we can use music to kind of hack that nervous system, listening to music that sees the pain within, emotionally and physically, that sees that pain, acknowledges it, and then slowly move towards sounds that are more relaxing, more calming, or even that uplift you. Using sound to heal. It can also be innovation. Innovation within the air space can be innovation within travel. Gemini loves to travel, traveling domestically. So we can be seeing a lot of these aircrafts in the sky, even extends to drones as well, electric trains, things like innovation in the field of transportation. Also chaos as well. So, there, with everything, there can be chaos. But when we're creating a new system, sometimes there is chaos. And it's something that we have to expect and kind of roll with. Uranus wants us to kind of surrender a bit, to the greater plan, the greater idea. Uranus doesn't necessarily care about the human being, the personal experience, our feelings. It's a cold planet, and it's also known for detachment. So it's detached from these feelings somewhat. And the air sign Gemini also a bit detached, more about the thoughts. So we may be getting a lot of revelatory thoughts coming through our mind, like, wow, oh my God, I can't believe this kind of information. And it can be overwhelming too. Uranus is also for anxiety. So all of these things coming in can create anxiety. And using different sort of alternative therapy techniques. Back to the sound, I also use tuning forks. Tuning forks is a great way too to regulate that nervous system. Sound healing, weighted tuning forks, especially for pain. I didn't think tuning forks could work for pain, but they can. Just the same way the music works, healing from within, healing those nerves from within. We can generate those adrenaline, dopamine, serotonin. We can generate them ourselves through music, through the way that music makes us feel. We can alter our body chemistry using sound. So I hope there are I've seen some experiments, bringing credibility to this idea. So I just hope during this time we become more open-minded to different forms of therapy. With this alignment, we can see things like cybersecurity being something that's an issue during this time, especially with Pluto and Aquarius. This is also technology, and Pluto is crime. So these industries can do really well. Maybe they'll have a lot of business. Maybe these are things that the collective is dealing with at this time and protecting our information. Mercury rules Gemini. This is also business and money. So protecting your assets will become very important. Also, there's a sextile between the Saturn and Neptune conjunction. So this is also showing a lack of compassion, especially while Saturn is in that close conjunction with Neptune. The Mars-Uranus conjunction, which will happen in 2026, 2028, 2030, and 2032. So these are also issues that will come up that involve battle, conflict with other people, but in the sphere of air, of Gemini, and communication. Battles maybe online, maybe throughout the media. We're seeing a lot of fighting, arguing, aggressive behavior, selfish behavior. The sign of Gemini typically refers to the twins, Castor and Pollux, or Zethus and Amphion, Zeus's two sons. The twins are always different. They're always the opposite. Zeus, his sons were different. One was more masculine, one leaned more feminine, liked feminine things, music, art. And it shows that same symbolism within Uranus, that androgyny. And it makes me think too, me personally, I feel on the outside definitely feminine, but on the inside masculine. So that androgyny of Uranus, and also that bisexuality of Gemini and Mercury. Mercury transcends boundaries. So perhaps we're discussing more of this, how the masculine exists within us all, just like the feminine exists within us all. And maybe as a society, we're realizing that androgyny, it provides a freedom to be ourselves, a freedom to be authentically us, because we're free to explore. That exploration is something that can take place now with Uranus and Gemini. It's out of the earth sign and it's more into the air that's experimenting and trying different things. The Gemini likes to be in multiple different baskets. Gemini will refer to communicating with our siblings, with neighbors, people in our neighborhood. Even social circles can refer to media and chatting online, and especially with Uranus there. So it can be that we find independence from these groups, or we want to detach from them in a way. We're thinking on our own now. We're not leaning on these influences anymore. We want to detach from them, maybe find new social groups, maybe create new social platforms that provide more freedom for discussion, for debate. Also, because when Mars is in Gemini, we'll want to debate, when Mercury is there, we'll want to debate. So this is important. This is how we're going to grow and evolve, is through bouncing those ideas off of each other and getting the feedback. There could also be innovation in hearing technology, hearing aids, ways to communicate, helping those who are unable to communicate. Maybe there's innovation in this. Those who have difficulty speaking or who are unable to speak, maybe children who have difficulty speaking. Maybe there's technology that's invented that helps them. Translation tools could be advancements here, allowing us to spread our messages to a wider audience. Uranus and Gemini can also refer to the electrical system. We can also see chaos here as well with the electrical grid. Anything electrical appliances can be causing chaos as well. And it's interesting to think about the transits that will take place here. The planets, as they go through the zodiac, they will be opposing this alignment from the sign of Sagittarius. So that's kind of saying, well, we're learning a lot in this Uranus and Gemini space about new alternative practices, new ways to build our structure. We're communicating about it, and we're passing ideas along. But Sagittarius is asking us now, well, what is the meaning of this? What does it mean? What is the thread, the greater pattern here? You know, how do I evolve with this information? And then we're going to be experiencing squares from Virgo. And then Virgo is going to be asking us, well, Gemini, you're so lofty, you're the air. What are the details? How do we ground this, and how do we use this on a day-to-day basis? How do I use this to improve my mind, my body, my environment? You know, how do I use this in practical ways? And the square from Pisces also is asking, hey, Uranus, you know, what about the compassion? You know, you seldom care about the human experience. So where is your compassion? You know, we all can't just follow a structure like that. We're spiritual beings having a human experience. And so we're making mistakes, and we're meant to make those mistakes. We have to learn from them. So we're going to be dealing with a lot of these kind of difficulties. We're going to have to learn how to tune some things out. And with all the things coming in, we'll have to learn how to find direction as well. Direction, iolite. Iolite is very good for direction, finding direction, clarity. I like to think about a granny spirit, having a granny spirit come to you. This granny is composed. You know, she's deliberate with her movements. She's not someone that you can be rambunctious around. You know, you have to be calm, you have to be relaxed, you have to respect her energy, and you have to mirror that energy. I would say tune into that granny spirit, and in the middle of all the chaos, because it will seem very overwhelming and it will seem like a lot of information is coming to you. You'll have to have the discernment with all the information, what is valuable and what is not. The Saturn-Neptune in Aries can help with that. Deciding what is truly meaningful versus what is just a waste of space. You know, maybe we'll have to work on that discernment, especially with this Uranus and Gemini, especially when Saturn leaves Aries. You know, the Neptune is all alone there. It's just important to slow down at this time, because we can make a lot of mistakes when we're multitasking. Gemini loves to multitask and thinks that it can handle it all. And maybe you can handle it all, but you can make little mistakes when you're rushing. And, you know, these are things we can control. There are going to be things that happen that are outside of our control with Uranus and Gemini. So let's focus on the little things that we can to see how the children of karma. So I can read your chart. We can find ancestral patterns. Thank you. Don't forget to like the video. Bye.